trying to capture the market on. I have a list of California brokers. I have a list of homeowners in Covina. I have people who have an NOD. I have people that have responded that are in a follow-up. Like, I look at every single piece. So I've said this a million times. We overthink the data that we send to these individuals for follow-up, right? If I've met with you and I've already branded with you, or you've opened up and you are responding to my information, I don't put much more thought than going on Google and looking for the latest news headline that relates to them. And I don't even care if that's a 50-year-old guy into Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. If I had that list and my goal is to get them to hire me for my, let's say I actually had a dojo and I was teaching Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and I've got people who've come in for a trial or shown interest, and I have their email address, I'm going to just send them Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu videos and training videos and free trials. I think we overthink the stuff. Hey, can we meet? Hey, can I help you? Your greatest value is you want to help them. How do you convey you want to help them? Sounded a little preachy today, didn't it? Let's see if I can answer a few more of these questions. I am roasting in my car in the lovely, where am I, Elsinore? All right. Mr. Love, obviously it's way too big an area. When you have an appointment, do you approach them as an advocate like David does, or do you go as an agent there to list the house? Good question. I could tell you all the approaches, and I could tell you my approach. The correct approach is to just go up there as an advocate who's there to try to help you. You know that you're actively in foreclosure. Kevin, I just taught this to Kevin the other day. And I will teach it to you guys. It's the line that I use. Because the one thing that I'm frustrated with at the front door when I meet with people is, I don't need anything, I'm okay, right? How many of you had that one happen, right? I'm not in foreclosure. This is all taken care of. That's the number one thing that should happen. Like, if I had to rank the top 3 things that would happen maybe 4. Number 1 thing you'll hear is, oh, I'm not in foreclosure. You've got wrong information. It's all been taken care of with the bank. Number 1 thing I hear. Number 2 thing I hear, oh, I've got a lawyer taking care of it, right? That's why we talk about it so much on I got a lawyer who's taking care of it. No, you don't. You got a lawyer who's basically filing bankruptcy for you. And you can't have a lawyer actively working on your loan modification in the state of California, but neither here nor there. The third thing you will hear at the front door, in my humble opinion, is that you'll find a listing, right? Yeah, I've just run out. I don't know what to do. That's the order of events. Okay, got it handled. I'm not in foreclosure anymore. Blah, blah, blah. Number 1 thing you will hear, by far, right? That's the biggest hurdle all of you have when starting and bonding a relationship and meeting people face to face. That's the number 1 thing, period, that I've seen at the front door. I'm just telling you firsthand. I got it all taken care of. I'm not in foreclosure anymore. And a variation thereof. Got it all worked out, right? I'm going to teach you guys something specific today for that conversion. Ready? And yes, you can write this down. Oh, really? Then you really should get a title report and call your bank, because you're still actively being shown as somebody who's in foreclosure, and that is public data, which means people will still approach you. Got it? I have now found a way to have a second appointment with that person and to meet with them. I can sit down with you at your convenience and help you call the bank and ask them, because whatever deal you think you have with the bank, the county records and what the bank is actually doing is, it looks like you're still actively in foreclosure. Does that make sense? Or did I lose all of you and I'm again talking to myself? It's always the problem when it's just one person. It's very weird. Good, John. Mark, good. Sharon, good. Did you guys like that? I will repeat it once more. Richard, I'll do it just for you. You ready? Richard, I think it's great that you've got it all worked out and you've got to deal with the bank, but based on the records that I'm looking at, you're still being shown as actively in foreclosure. When's the last time you talked to the bank? Have you gotten, I've got a copy of your notice of default right here. I've got a copy of your notice of sale right here. These are all still very real things. I can sit down with you today, right now, or, at your convenience and sit with you, put it on speakerphone and call the bank and find out whether or not you're still actively in foreclosure. That's it. Stop everything else. The number one question I'm asked at that minute by most people in the early days is, okay, so when do I ask them if they want to sell their house? Nobody who's being foreclosed upon wants to sell their house. They have to sell their house. Got it? That's what makes the data unique. The people you're meeting with are going to have to sell their house. The only question is, can I be relatable, trustable, and likable? I don't even need to be an expert. I just need them to believe me more than the bank. It's a low bar. Because the bank, by nature, is only going to do what's in its best interest, which is collect money. There you go. Mr. Love, obviously I'm doing way too big of an area. When you're doing an appointment, do you approach them so I did answer the advocate question. Big area, small area, it doesn't matter. I do all the data. I'm obsessed with the data. I like all the data. I wish I had all the data. I wish they had phone numbers on the data. I wish they had emails on the data. Man, I'd start a campaign before I monstered them. Doug Ranger, I just encountered 2 owners that have already made 2 payments. Yeah, that's a real thing. But did you take a step forward from there, Doug? And I'll take it one step up, right? Hey, you're still being shown on records that are public records that you haven't made those payments and that you're still actively in foreclosure. Just making those 2 payments does not cure or modify your position. We should sit down and call the bank together. Here is my thing for all of you for the new year. Please take this for what it's worth. Every single person you meet is going to be harsh. Everybody take a deep breath. Everybody taking a deep breath. Got it? Got it? Deep breath. Everybody rest, relax, feel good. Sharon, everybody, good? We have a lot of people on this call. You ready for this? Every single human being you meet is a listing, a buyer, or a referral. Was that harsh? Because that's the way you better look at it next year, because you're going to be replaced by Zillow, Redfin, and Purple Brick. Every single person as a private business owner, which is all of you, and anybody listening to this rebroadcast, you need to look at, I know it's harsh, buyer, seller, referral. I've said this before on the show. My mom picked her best friend to sell her house over me. That's who she felt more relatable to. I'm still her little boy. Got it? It's how the game is played. I don't mean you, Doug. Doug is like trying to cover everything. I'm just talking out loud. I got to make content here. This me talking by myself while David's trying to get onto the webinar. I'm just making content for you guys and trying to give you guys things of value. But the reality, now there are situations where you don't turn on you're a buyer, you're a seller, you're a referral. But the first time look, how many times in your day-to-day life have you had, this should have happened to all of you because it happens to me. What do you do? And usually I say marketing and content. I've changed it for this year. I do real estate. I'm looking for buyers. I'm looking for sellers. I'm looking for referrals. That's a sentence. That's a sentence. Got it? You want to use it? Own it. I don't get. Hi, I'm Lee. You're Steve. Great. Steve, what do you do? Oh, I don't know. Work at GameStop. Whatever. What do you do, Lee? I'm in real estate. I'm looking for buyers. I'm looking for sellers. I'm looking for referrals. I'm an investor. Did I cover everything in that sentence and it's not aggressive? It's not even embarrassing. If they ask you what you do, that should be the sentence. Is that a good New Year's wish for all of you? Let's see if I can knock down the rest of these questions. I am sweating to death because I can't have the windows open. I'm in a parking lot. Yeah, I was just giving you a hard time, Doug. You're actually a very relatable. I will tell you a lot about Doug Ranger. You guys will meet him in February. Nice guy. Holy crap. Doug, you're nice. You're the kind of nice that I want to be. You're David Bartels nice. Like, I don't have... You can only be congruent to who you are, right? And I think we, in real estate, want to believe that I can go into some mastermind coaching group with some big name coach and be a closer just like him. I've worked closely with a couple of bigger coaches that use aggressive scripting and conversion, and I think it works. But I think you're one and done with those types of people. I think when you're talking about buyers and sellers through aggressive script, I think you're looking at one and done situations. Diana is legitimately friends with everybody she's ever done a deal with, and they legitimately call her if they're buying or selling because she creates that relationship. That's not how it is with me. Everybody's a buyer seller going on a list. And I'm not cranking out crappy newsletters, right? People want personal. They want to feel like they know you. They want to know if they're connecting with you. It felt preachy. Diana, how close to the trustees do you tag them? I don't care if the trustee sale is today. I'm tagging that house. David Hero, what number do you put the tracking number on the monster marketing piece? That's a very good question. APN number is good. Diana's system is weird. She has some kind of weird lettering system, so she knows the month of when it went out and the date roughly by the tag, because you never know when a tag is going to get hit, but for some reason she's tracking that data. I don't know what she's doing with it because she's not a data catcher like me, but she's tracking. I think she knows when people are getting tagged or when they're responding based on the way she's tracking. It doesn't seem to make a difference when she's sending me out. But if it were me and I was a single person still doing this down in Oceanside like I used to, APN number is my favorite thing to do. Because then it doesn't matter who calls me in because it's a flawed piece of data, right? The person who calls in might not be the person on the tag. God forbid you put the wrong tracking number and you can't match it up to your notes. Why don't you, here's a good one. Use the property radar or realty track ID number. There's an idea. Anything that will help you tell you about the house. The money is in the follow-up from David Huro. I agree. Money's not just in the follow-up. That's your drip line. I learned so much about internet marketing last year. I was hired last year to do internet marketing for 5 or 6 people about this time. Every once a year, for some of you that are newer, I usually want to try something radical and dynamic and different, and I make it available, and I take a couple of people. I don't make guarantees on it. Last year, I did internet marketing, and I said, well, it's going to be a 3-month program, plus or minus. That's how long I'll do it. I had to do it all year, and I can't even tell you what the results are because of the way I drove the traffic. But I can safely tell you that those 7 individuals were highly branded online. And do I think that it led to a lead? Yes. Do I think it ultimately comes down to them taking an action to a phone call? Again, you've got to everybody's got to look at that drip line and all of the pieces. It's a pipeline at